New this morning, Tropical Storm Elsa is now the fifth named storm in the Atlantic. It's bringing heavy rains and may cause flooding and mudslides in the Caribbean. According to a Colorado State University researcher, Elsa is the earliest fifth named storm on record. Rob, why is that significant?
Well, the problem is that the peak of the Atlantic hurricane season is in the middle of September. So we still have a couple more months to go just to get to the peak, and then a couple more months coming off of that. So to see this many storms so early is a concern. Now, usually if it's named and it's floating out here in the Atlantic or the Caribbean, no one really cares. But this one is going to make a path through many populated islands and ultimately toward Florida. So we'll have to see what shape it's in by the time it gets to Florida, but that's the track that it's on just the day after the 4th of July. Now, for us locally, we've moved into a good spot weather-wise. We've seen the temperatures come down and we're more or less normal. The one thing that has been consistent is the Sierra showers and thunderstorms, and we saw a lot of activity. So if that is your destination for the 4th of July weekend, plan on sunshine, plan on warm weather, but also plan on rain late in the afternoon as a possibility, especially if you're camping. That is something that throws a lot of people off. They're just not thinking about it until it happens. Now, big cities in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Seattle, have moved away from excessive dangerous heat, but that just means it moves somewhere else. So for Bend, for Spokane, Washington, for Coeur d'Alene, a lot of big places locally are dealing with some extreme excessive dangerous heat. And then for Canada, after coming down off the hottest temperatures they've ever seen in the whole country, they're waking up to all sorts of fires and smoke and just major outbreaks that are ongoing. And for us locally, we saw some of this as well. A big day of growth for the lava fire and others, and pyrocumulus clouds. That's the cloud on top of active wildfire. Now, these can and do occasionally produce lightning and new fire starts. We saw that in Canada yesterday. So we have to keep an eye on these fires because even in a non-red flag warning day, which we had yesterday, they are still growing and they're still producing issues. And for those of you traveling, this is where they are for some perspective. This is I-5 through Weed, and then it splits. There's 97 that goes to Bend, or you stay on I-5 that goes to Grants Pass, Oregon, and other spots. It's just off to the east of those areas, but this whole area is going to be covered in smoke and haze for weeks. Trust me on that. As far as what we can expect, there's the area of concern for afternoon showers and thunderstorms. I'll show you the timing of that in just a second. But for the local weather this morning, you know, it's pretty nice. Temperatures in the 50s, the 70s in some places for the foothills, which is warm. But for everybody, we've cooled off anywhere from 2 to 7 degrees compared to yesterday. So if you're waking up this morning, things are looking pretty good. We will have that afternoon sea breeze in places that get it. Even if you don't get it, we're looking at highs that are reasonable for this time of year. If you get the Delta breeze, this is what your day looks like. You're going to be in the 70s and 80s through most of the day. And if you don't get it, you're looking at highs in the low 90s. Again, all things considered, with everything else going on around us, this is not a bad place to be for the rest of this week and the 4th of July weekend. Between 2 and 6 p.m. is roughly the timing of when you can expect those showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra. Once the sun goes down, all that activity goes away. And just so you know, the bubble of heat will be lasting for a while for portions of the Rocky Mountain West. They're going to be dealing with dangerous heat all the way through Sunday. For us, we're looking at highs in the 90s through the weekend,